Hello and welcome back to another LEGO Star Wars Unbox, Unbag and Build Per Bag. This time I'm here with set 75157, Captain Rex's ATTE. It was released on the 1st of June 2016, contains 972 pieces and was rated ages 9 to 14. Now it comes with 5 minifigures as you see down below there. A nice little selection of minifigs, but not that sought after and not that expensive, but there's still a nice little selection. I would say this is actually my favourite version of the Stormtrooper. Maybe an unpopular opinion, but I think it definitely is. Now this set we all know is Captain Rex's ATTE from Star Wars Rebels, the animated series. And we know that he modified it, and he kind of goes around Sealos with it and lives with, Gregor and Wolf on it. And to be honest, I think everybody, if you've seen it in action, knows a lot about it, as much about it as anybody can know, really. But yeah, I suppose we can kind of mention that it also destroyed at some point, and they used this then to modify an AT-AT. They used the legs of this for support for a little kind of platform on top of that, so that's kind of a little bit of interesting information that not a lot of people actually did notice whenever they saw the AT-AT. Now, I've been sitting on this set for quite a while because I wanted to get the Summer Wave out of the way first. I'm not going to do the rest of the Summer Wave because I'm not going to buy the rest of the Summer Wave. I don't have space at the moment to be doing that. But I got this set because I wanted an ATTE for cheap and I wanted Captain Rex. Now I paid €100 for this, which is like $120 and I don't know what it is in pounds. It's pretty much worth that. Like, I can get it for cheaper nowadays. I can get it for like $80 or euros, 80 euros I can get it for nowadays. So, the price has dropped a good bit. It doesn't seem to be that, sought after or anything, which is kind of one thing. But as soon as I bought this, I found the Clone Wars version for like €100, when it's actually worth like 180 to 200. Anyway, getting on to the rest of the box, you can see there, just to mention, there's a little Star Wars Rebels logo down there, and there's Kylo Ren up there, because that makes a ton of sense. And yeah, you can see then that we have the typical 1-for-1 minifigure at the top. I will mention that I'm sorry for the condition of the box, but I really do just want to review this. So I'm going to just go through with it anyway, and I don't think it's going to be, it's going to just take too much longer to get a new box. But yeah, we can see here that's typical enough for the sides of the box for Lego. We can see that the front image is printed again here beside the small print on the side, and also then there's loads and loads of small print on the bottom there, you can see. And then again we can see pretty much the same without the small print on this side. Nothing too interesting there on the sides, but during the reviews and unboxes I just like to give you a look at the whole thing. Starting off at the back of the box, it's really interesting here because we can see a little holographic kind of image there. You can get close-ups and all of this in the review because I do that just before I go into the overview of the review. But also it shows a load of boxes for functionalities there, which is really nice to see. There's like a nice kind of black, but like these lines make it look like it's it just gives it a very Star Wars look to the whole thing. Whereas I feel nowadays they don't really do as much. They might put a picture down. It might be this, and then a box here, and a box there, and a box there, and that'd pretty much be it. But now, as you can see back then, when they made these sets, it was a lot more colourful and just a lot more going on. You can see here that there is a handle. The platform lifts up to show an interior, which I'm assuming is this interior. I'm assuming that's the kitchen, by the looks of him holding his mug. You can see the crane moves around and goes up and down, which is nice feature there. This comes out for ease of play, and also the cockpit opens up. Obviously enough, it wouldn't come out if the cockpit didn't open up, that it wouldn't make sense. And also then you can see here that the cannons rotate and fire things, and it's all great for play. The holographic image up in the corner is very nice. I really think they should keep those kind of added in to the back of the box because it's just really nice to see there, I think. I will mention it's the Lego version of the set that's in that holographic box and not, the standard version of the ship. But I suppose that's enough about the box. And from the back of the box to the unbox. Now let's see what we got in here. Sweet. I'm just going to assume I can't... Oh, damn it, I saw it. I was going to say I assume there's a sticker sheet with this set. Just based on the amount of colours. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that a bag under here? 8 bags. Let's get these all lined out for you now and see what we have. So yeah, you can see here we have 8 bags. Each of them are numbered 1 to 8, of course, as per usual. And I will mention a little fact that there's no second bags for any of these numbers. Sometimes in this set, in these kind of big sets, you will see like 1 and 1, so they build the two ones together, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, none of that in this bag. They seem to have all of their little bags on the inside, which is great to see there, nice and tidy. Also, we have a sticker sheet. Now, in fairness, they do look like nice stickers. Like, that thing looks pretty cool, showing the worm that they were hunting there in the series. And these there's just nice designs, I think, on them. And a little bit like, that looks like Sabine's artwork there. I know it's not, but it definitely does look like it has a bit of a touch-up from her there. Otherwise, then, we can see that the instruction book is in a little film. Probably to keep it safe, but I just love when they do that. I really do. I always kind of rip the film open nice and carefully and put it back into the sleeve, then store it away whatever way you kind of store it yourself. I will also mention that there's no pieces floating outside the box, but I suppose now we can get into opening up the bags. So bag number 1 here, and to be honest, I'm liking the looks of it. You can see here that this piece is involved in the set, and to be honest, I haven't seen that piece before. Seen variants of it, of course, pieces that would go, say, under that to make it look smooth there, and pieces that might go on top, but I've not actually seen this piece before myself. I would assume that it would be involved in maybe a lot of planes or boats maybe, but again, it's just a little piece that I've noticed there that I haven't seen before. You can see this little piece here, the kind of shoulder pieces, I suppose, for the Inquisitor there, which is nice to see. You can see that obviously enough you get the Inquisitor and you get one of the clones. I'm not sure which particular one he is. I'm going to assume Rex actually. But anyway, getting on to our small side here, we can see that there's a little printed tile here. We can see the Inquisitor's lightsaber there, which is really nice to see as well. 2 blades, of course, and a little gun down here, presumably for the clone trooper that it comes with here. And of course our orange elusive brick separator, the rarest piece I think I will ever find in any bag ever. So let's get on to the build. So at the end of bag number 1, we can see a few little bits here, just off to the side. This has thermal detonators inside, and this has a pistol inside. I could be wrong which one's which, but also then we can see that the base is kind of starting off there as well. Held together with mostly Technic pieces, and this is good because it gives it a very nice structure. It's always good when you have a skeleton of Technic pieces there, because it just holds the bigger sets together very well. You don't grab on it and crush the whole thing, so that's good. We can also see that the Inquisitor here and Captain Rex are looking swell. Also then we can see there's a spare part here, just the one. We've used no stickers yet, and yeah, nothing too grueling yet, nothing too... It was kind of confusing at the start, to be honest. There was 1 or 2 bits I had to take a second look at, but yeah, no, it's still kind of fairly decent, standard enough build, like. So yeah, on to bag number 2. So bag number 2, and it looks like to be a nice enough bag. Like you can see there's like big kind of wall pieces there. There's a little kind of windscreen piece there, and these pieces with this added on to the top. I don't know if I've seen these before. I've seen something like it, alright. I've seen that technique kind of before underneath there, and I've seen kind of the top a little bit, but this added on piece there, I don't think I've seen this particular piece before at all. But yeah, to be honest, that is pretty much it for the interesting, well, maybe this piece as well. For the interesting pieces, that seems to be about it though. Everything else is kind of standard enough. You could argue these are a little unusual to see in sets, but they have come before and they will come again. That's pretty much it for the big side. And the small side here, you can see that there's not an awful lot of crazy pieces in there either. You can see there's a printed tile just up here, and yeah, that's pretty much it for the overview of bag number 2. Let's get on to the build. So at the end of bag number 2, and to be honest, I said earlier that it was a little bit confusing, and I realized that was wrong. I'm just really not on my game. I'm putting things in the wrong place and the wrong way around, and but anyway, no minifigures in this bag. You can see there that we've added a good bit onto the main body of the thing. In fact, that's all we've done. We've added the handle on, which is nice, and we've added pretty much the same technique as the last one, where we kind of add a few bits on and then put it together with that one. And also then, if you want, you can see the kind of bottom of it is pretty much the same technique as we've used before for the handle. Although this is a lot longer, it's a lot more sturdy. There's a lot more to grab onto there than stuff in the past. Spare pieces, we have just 2 spare pieces. Again, no stickers this time. Oh, sorry, 1 sticker this time. And that is this one, which I think is a really nice sticker, but no, I'm not going to say it. It's just a nice sticker. I don't like stickers. But anyway, on to bag number 3. So, on to bag number 3. And to be honest, I'm quite happy with it. Like this typical enough piece, it holds a door, but the door itself, I think, is quite nice actually. I've not seen it done so like a door before. I think it's just generally a kind of, I don't know, it looks like a kind of metal door. It doesn't really, I don't know how to describe it, but it is a little more interesting than kind of some of the other doors. We've got a spanner there and some general tools. These pieces are kind of, I don't know if they're really interesting, but they're there. Otherwise, not an awful lot of interesting pieces in there. So we'll move on to the small side. And in the small side, there's something you might notice straight away. I noticed it straight away. The white binoculars. Like that has to be rare, isn't it? Like that's not seen much, like a lot at all, is it? Like, really? Again, nice little addition to it. Also, these little printed tiles here are kind of interesting. I'm not sure, do you get 2 of them for the set, or do you get a spare piece? But there are 2 of them on the board there. Also then, the cup. I don't think there's anything on the cup. No, there's no print on the cup there, so that's kind of what it is. But yeah, again, I suppose we'll just get on to the build. So, at the end of bag number 3, and we can see the kind of walls starting along here very nicely. You can see there that we've added some rails onto the side, which is nice to see there. We've added the little stairs on, and we've added the door. Now, on the subject of the door, I like the way they've added these door frames on, essentially. So you've got this piece, right? You know the piece that I'm on about, the typical enough. And then that attaches onto those 2 little blue kind of Technic pieces there. So it ends up looking like that. And to be honest, it just looks very nice. It kind of corners off the whole door area there, and it's just a nice little feature to have. Not a major feature or anything, but just a nice one to have. Also then you can see that the binoculars are there along the wrench or spanner or whatever it's called. And yeah, a little bit of the inside starting to come along nicely there. Otherwise, not an awful lot added on to it. But yeah, no minifigures in this bag either. Our spare pieces are here, and we've used 3 more stickers in this bag. So yeah, that's the kind of overview of bag number 3. Let's get on to the next bag. So, on to bag number 4, and doesn't seem to be an awful lot of crazy parts in it. Maybe this piece, the kind of windshield looking piece, and the kind of strange pole there. But we've kind of all seen that before, I think. Otherwise, not an awful lot of crazy pieces, as I said, in this bag. No printed tiles, even in the small part here, we have no printed tiles. This piece might be a bit interesting, but again, we have seen that quite a bit before. But yeah, nothing really much to say about this bag. Seems to be standard enough pieces, bar 1 or 2, and yeah, let's get on to the build. So, at the end of bag 4, we haven't actually added an awful lot in this bag. It was a rather short build, mainly this stuff here. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, we added the lights there, and a little bit more of the walkway, a little bit of the cabin itself, which is nice. Not an awful lot inside there, you'll see. But obviously that is where this piece, I'm assuming, slides in, that we made in bag number 1. But yeah, that's kind of all we've really done with this bag. Not an awful lot of structural parts in this bag. But yeah, I suppose that's it really. We can show you the spare parts, and now that I think about it, I didn't mention that I was talking about a smaller piece that was printed, a 1x1 tile in the last bag, and it was actually a spare. There was 2 of them, it was a spare, it was the door handle, if you want to see that actually. That is right here. Yep, just there, and that is a spare piece we got in the last bag. We can see the lanterns there looking nice, and to be honest, one thing I like about this set is you don't have to be as purist with this one, because it's kind of, you know, a junkyard set essentially, so you can kind of do whatever you want. Now, saying that, I still have been very purist with the whole thing so far, but yeah. We have stickers also gone here, not an awful lot left now because the mainly is filled up with big stickers there. And that's pretty much it for the build of bag number 4. Now we'll get on to the next bag. So on to bag number 5 here, and not an awful lot of kind of mad pieces that you wouldn't have expected in the bag, because we're making the legs in this part, so it's pretty much everything you need to make the legs. These kind of, you would expect pretty much everything you see here. Of course, we got the kind of big tiles here, and we got these kind of plates as well. We got our one foot that seems to be a bit kind of, I don't know, is it dirty or is it old? I don't know, but it's just a different colour to the rest of the feet and legs. We got 2 small bags in here, respectively 1 and 2. But yeah, like maybe these orange parts, but otherwise there's not an awful lot of interesting pieces there either. No printed tiles, might I add, in this bag. So yeah, we'll just suppose move on to the build. So at the end of bag number 5, and we literally just have the legs in this bag. That's all we have in this bag. I will show you now. They seem to be pretty much like pretty close to each other. It seems to be kind of not as wide-legged as, say, the Clone Wars version. But, you know, they do a good job on what they're supposed to do. I will say these bits are just seem a bit redundant. It could be just to make sure that you don't put one of the sticks in that hole. Like, as you can see, it's kind of a square. It's kind of a cross. So maybe this not going into that hole is the kind of reason for it. But I don't know really why it's there. It's just kind of it's kind of a little unsettling, to be honest, that these bits just kind of poke out there. I don't really like that, but you know, it's not a major problem. Otherwise then, our spare bits for this bag are here in front of you. This is a tile, that's a plate, or maybe the other way around, I'm not sure. These are not printed, that's just upside down. And yeah, that's pretty much it for bag number 5. Let's get on to bag number 6. So, bag number 6 here, and bar maybe the yellow pieces, there's not an awful lot exciting about the bag. You know, there's kind of these pieces which are nice to have. These pieces which are a little bit more rare than some other pieces in the set so far. These pieces are kind of unusual, but we've seen them before. We've seen them quite a lot in Star Wars kind of stuff as well. I think I've seen them in, for example, have I seen them in one of the Star Destroyers? Have I? I've definitely seen them in like all of the Republic gunships. So that's something. Here's our small side. Mostly brown pieces by the looks of things. But yeah, we'll see what it kind of builds whenever we get to it. So let's get to the build. So at the end of bag number 6, and we have a lot of the kind of armor on the outside done. I will show you on the other side here, we also have it done. And I said in the last bag that these kind of legs looked a bit kind of stumpy maybe, or like really thin to close together, so it kind of made it look a bit chubby. But the whole thing is starting to look kind of chubby. In like compared to the Clone Wars version of the AT-TE, it was a lot longer and kind of thinner as well. You know, this one is a little bit chubbier looking, but in Rebels, the TV show, it is actually done a little bit chubbier looking than the normal AT-TEs anyway. So that's kind of probably the reason. It's kind of more accurate than you might think when you're building it first, if you're not kind of, if you don't have the Rebels AT-TE in mind. Now here is the small pieces side, and I will say that this these are sturdy. These are sturdy. These are kind of like they're touching. It might almost be illegal because they're kind of pushing against this a little bit once you click them. But these are like, they just don't really like, they're very loose, you know. So maybe for play, like we might fix that in the next bag, but as of now, they're just the same on this side. They're just kind of loose and kind of, you know, like once you push them in and leave them there, they do kind of look fine. But yeah, no, it's just something I kind of hope that is fixed in the next bag. But yeah, let's get on to it. So bag number 7, and we have a few interesting pieces here. Now these are nice. I like the way they kind of curve. You don't usually get that. Usually, like, you can get pieces like this, alright, they're grey and they kind of just go straight up, but the curve on this one is actually quite nice. It's good to see there. These are a really nice colour. I don't know, is the camera doing it justice here, but it's a nice kind of sky blue. It kind of looks a little bit darker on the camera, but it is a really, really nice kind of, even baby blue kind of colour there. It looks very well. This, nice piece, nice colour to it. Yellow pieces in there, of course. And these kind of strange pieces, I'm assuming we're going to use for the crane. But, you know, we'll kind of get on to all of that once we start building it. You can see there that we have the Stormtrooper by the helmet you see there, and underneath it, the torso for Wolf, I'm going to assume. We still have Gregor as well. I think Gregor is the one in plain clothing, but I'll get on to all of that later on. Your small side here, some nice pieces, nothing too crazy, of course, some window tiles there, but no printed pieces. I think once we have done the inside, we can all kind of kiss the printed tiles goodbye, really, for each set. But yeah, that's the overview of bag number 7. Let's get on to the build. So, at the end of bag number 7, and we literally just made this and these two lanterns here. You can see the two boys there in the corner, Wolf and the Stormtrooper. Last bag now contains Gregor, so that'll be nice. Yeah, no, we literally just built the whole top and stuck it on top there. You know, that's all we did for this whole bag. The spare parts side is kind of strange because you get 2 spares of these. Like, I checked the instruction books twice to make sure that I didn't miss any steps, but apparently, like, in the back of the book it says you get 2 in the bag, and I've got 4, so like you get these 2, and then there's 2 left over as well, you know. I will probably add it on to this just to make it longer, maybe, that's probably the way I'll kind of go about that, or maybe they add on to there or something, I don't know exactly how that works, but yeah, otherwise it was like a nice enough build. Like, it was kind of cool using all these colors and stuff, but it was nothing too kind of taxing or interesting, no new kind of techniques really. We used 2 stickers, so I'm assuming we're going to use all of these stickers then in the last bag. Quite a few just for one bag compared to what we have been using. It's like 1 or 2 per bag, and then it's like 5 or 6. But yeah, that's pretty much all we can get out of this bag. Now on to the final bag, bag number 8. So, bag number 8, the 8th and final bag. We have these pieces. I want to just kind of let you know that this is the only time we see these in a Star Wars set. Just a bit of fun fact there. Otherwise, kind of standard enough pieces. Again, nothing too crazy. We've got the minifig here. This, I always kind of enjoy seeing what colour these are going to turn out. I've seen them in loads of different colours. They're going to come out in the Mandalorian 2021 set, in, is it grey? I think they're going to come out in grey, and they've been in this colour here. Like, this is a really nice colour to see them in. They've been in green, red, orange, and there's another kind of strange colour I can't remember at the moment, but just a kind of another unusual colour. I just kind of find it interesting to see what colour each one of those is going to end up being. Otherwise, we can see that they slot into there. Of course, got this piece, which is nice for mocks, if you were doing Star Wars mocks or something. And then you can see the small parts. No printed pieces in this part. You got this piece, which is kind of interesting. It's kind of like a crystal piece, but it's got a stud on the top of it there, unlike the other crystal piece that you might know. That's kind of like a full crystal with just the one stud on the bottom. So that's kind of interesting. I've not seen that one myself before. This piece, it's been in like 160 sets. But yeah, no, it's just another kind of interesting piece. Actually, it was in the Master Builder Bespin set, which is kind of interesting to know that every time I look up a weird piece, it seems to be close to one of the UCS sets from Star Wars, or the Cyan, or the Lamborghini Cyan, or something like that. But yeah, as you can see there, nothing too crazy bar those pieces. And let's get on to the 8th and final build. I was wrong, there is actually a printed piece in this bag. So yeah, I was wrong, sorry about that. So at the end of the 8th and final bag, we have the whole thing. All we built really is this. We added on a little one of these. I think that's all. Yeah, that's pretty much all. And we added, of course, the rest of the stickers because it's the last bag. It's kind of what you would expect. I will say it's heavy. It's a lot heavy, even with just the last kind of bit added on. It's just added a good bit of weight. Where is he? There he is. And we have Gregor here, which is nice to see, the final figure we were waiting for. Yeah, our spare bits for this bag. Now, I didn't think this would be a spare bit, but I looked in the back of the manual and you only use one in the set, so, you know, you get a spare one. Which is, you know, you can take it or leave it. I just didn't think we'd get a bit that big as a spare piece. And here's the spares for the entire set. Now, we've got a good bit of spares in this set, I think. Like, as I said, I'm going to use these. I'm going to add them on to here just to make it look longer. But that's kind of what you get with the spares for this bag. Like, there's a few bits there that are doubled or tripled even. And it's interesting to see there. Like, I mean, you seem to get a spare piece every bag. Whereas in the new sets, you get one spare piece per part, if you know what I mean. But yeah, that's the finished product of the ATTE. And just a little look of the back of the book now as well, as per usual. You can see there are a few functions. Of course, you can see that the spring-loaded shooter works all fine and dandy there. Don't shoot it in your eye unless, you know, you want to. And then, of course, you can see that this slots in, so you can actually have someone, you know, piloting this. Nice and handy there for it to come out, because otherwise you'd be kind of trying to get in there and it might not be as accessible as you might think. And you can see everyone's lined out there, everything you get with the set, I suppose. Our standard enough kind of parts list there. You can see I think this is just the stuff from the back of the box. It's just the stuff from the back of the box, again, repeated there. All of the figs that come out in this wave, all of them in action, doing some stuff and some things. You can see, of course, that this is also here, as well as the back of the box there. So download the app. I don't know if that still exists. These are the sets that came out in that wave, which is lovely to see. I love the way they add that in there. And it's kind of advertising for the Star Wars video game, Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens. So that's pretty cool, pretty interesting there. Always love to see the back of the book, because it usually kind of gives you an idea of what came out around that time. Also, it's good for kind of figuring out when things came out, because one of the things in the wave is going to have a date. Anyway, and here it is in all its glory with all its figures around. I will say that it's not a very complicated build. It's a nice build, and as I said, halfway through you might think it gets a bit chubby, but it doesn't really. It actually does kind of stay accurate enough to the Rebels ship, the Rebels version of the ship. Now, this wasn't really fixed at all whenever I was building it. I did mention that I hoped to see that get fixed, but you know, it didn't really. It's still kind of flimsy there a bit. Of course, you can, you know, push it in as much as you want and get it kind of stuck underneath there, but it's just, I don't think that's great, really. Like, the same as this side here. It's not really a massive deal, but it is just kind of, it would be nice to see it a bit more accurately done there. A bit more kind of well made, I suppose. Yeah, but as I said, it didn't take long. It wasn't that complicated. You can see all the kind of functions it has here. I'm not sure whether to put them up, down, or, you know, just like straight out. But, you know, you can kind of do what you want with them, I suppose. But yeah, the set looks well, to be honest. I did enjoy building it. I'm not saying that it wasn't enjoyable, but it's just wasn't exactly that taxing. So that concludes my unbag, unbox and build per bag of Rex's ATTE Walker. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below if you think anything needs to be said. Thanks a million, guys. See you again. Take care.